My name is Ian and welcome to Planted. In this video I'm going to give you a tour of my courtyard and just highlight some of those plants that really did perform incredibly well. Bright, fresh, fragrant, colourful, dramatic. Let's go. Last year, this fig put out a wonderful crop. I must have had at least 60 ripe fruit. This last winter was quite hard, so I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near that production, which is a shame because they really were very, very tasty. Now here we've got the corkscrew vine, and I know I keep on about it, but this is a really good subject. It's very difficult to get this to flower because this pot, although it's a reasonable size, it's very difficult to keep that hydrated to support this huge volume of foliage. This will transpire at such a high rate that it will suck all the water out of the pot and then it won't flower. Luckily, I've got a good crop of flowers that have set, and if that plant can get some sunshine, and I obviously don't let it dry out, I'll be in for a wonderful display. Earlier in the year, I was given a plant by one of my great friends who had too much of it. This is the plant, this is called Polygonatum. And here's a stand in her garden that I was able to carefully go through and dig up some fairly sizable clumps. Now the point I want to make here is that this is a little bit late. This was absolutely borderline as to whether the plant would survive. Dug it up, planted it within a few hours, and here we are now in September, and the plant looks a little bit sad, but I want to tell you that despite the slug damage, all of the clumps that I put in there are growing, and that gives me great reason to think that next spring these will come through the winter completely intact with nice, fresh, vibrant foliage and the little white flowers that hang down. So I really do have high expectations. Oh, and here's a little ajuga that was featured in previous propagation videos, looking very happy and healthy. Another fig with more figs on it. I'm very sad in the fall, all the effort, and it's all going to come to an end, and it won't be long before I have to start putting the garden to bed. But I do want to point out this Cypress King Tut. This is the spidery, spiky foliage that you see. Just beautiful and exquisite. Give it some water, get it in the ground, and this will be a very large clump. This container was featured in a previous video. It really has impressed me. This is Equisetum. Next year it'll be even bigger and stronger, and I featured it as a bamboo alternative. I love the upright stems. We've got the Forbia breathis beneath it. Finally, I have another agapanthus flower. I really had hoped that in this later part of the summer I'd end up with a lot more flowers up here, but it wasn't to be. But anyway, I'm still delighted to have what I've got. Another standout this year was the Aristotleia. I bought this 2 years ago. Last year it didn't do much, but I just loved the foliage, and I grew this Thunbergia through it. But I really want to feature this vibrant, healthy growth, and you get flowers, and texture, and fragrance. This is the Aristotleia before the flowers open, and I have featured this before, but now I want to show you the carefree manner in which it flowers. And then when they open, this is what you get. I cannot recommend this plant enough. I bought this from Annie's Annuals on the West Coast, and I've mentioned them before, but this is a plant everybody should go. Its fancy name is Aristotleia gigantea. It's tropical, it needs some winter protection, but you can grow it outside and then dig it up and put it in a greenhouse, put it in a basement, put it on a bedroom window, and it'll just tick through the winter nice and quietly. It need not put on lots of growth. But here we've got the Aristotleia. This is a wonderful vine called Lapageria rosea. Those flowers last for weeks, and then here we are back up to the Thunbergia, and then more Aristotleia. So growing plants together in a mass, I think is my treat. I don't overly prune because I like this wild and rampant look. And here you can see how it grew and took over the greenhouse. Next year I might need to feature a bit more of a structure. Down here we have the beautiful Catula leptonella Platts Black. This was featured in a propagation video. Not only is it growing, but it's putting out little side shoots, which means that it's very happy. Now, I removed this. This is bindweed, convolvulus, or moonflower. Lots of common names. Very aggressive. It'll set lots of seed by itself. I pulled out a huge amount of it, but you can see how it's jumped onto the Arundinodonax here, and it's almost eating it. It will grow very fast and give you lots of seed. But here's a plant that truly is standout. This is the Hedychium. It's called ginger. Just look at those flowers. This plant gives you late summer flowers and the most spectacular and remarkable fragrance. And I'm very pleased to say that the pruning from my previous video of taking off the old seed pods for the everlasting sweet pea worked. Not only do we have new buds now, but we've also got new buds to come. So that job took just a few minutes, and it's already rewarded me with another splash of colour. This is the spectacular Salvia involucrata Patheliae. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's well worth growing. I bought it this year, and I had hoped that the flowers would be a little longer, as I have experience growing this in the past. Typically it's 12 inches of flower and it's very, very colourful, but salvias are a great plant to practice your cuttings. Now is the time when these get cut back that you can master that skill and you'll be off to the races next year. Now I do want to say a big point about getting plants on their own roots. The channel is called Planted after all. This is the Cochleosanthus, the Caracalla. It's in the ground, unlike the other one that's in a pot. This one has put out huge branches 6, 7 and 8 feet in length. So that's it for today. I've shared with you a few plants that have done really well this year. I'm very happy with, and every year there should be something that you would consider a success, and that'll keep you going for next year. In the next few weeks it's going to be time to plan for the garden's removal and dismantle. I've got a little project on the greenhouse to do, but other than that, it's been a spectacular year. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.